There was me, and there was the current dilemma. And here I sat trying to figure out the best way forward. Every problem has a correct answer, does it not? Yet, I was also wondering something else. What more could this project possibly have to teach me? Here I was trying to make a decision. There was the car, and there was the latest of the trials it decided to put me through. Oh, these were terrible shoes to be in, but they were mine. Instead of feeling sorry for myself, maybe I should try and do something about it. Make a decision. Thankfully, it seems like we've got options, at least according to Colton after he snapped the bolt. Either way, I've got to pick which route's the best, starting with where I'm at now, and the biggest question I'll have with this entire process. Should I pull the engine now? What if I do? Well, then I've got to figure out if it's worth fixing this 4.2 or swapping something else in. The big concern is this engine is high enough mileage that who's to say it's worth paying for someone to machine it anyways. I'd probably want to do a rebuild first. And at that point, maybe a swap makes more sense financially. But it's not like that's going to be cheap either. And either way, I won't know if I like the engine that I put in. Plus, when the engine's out, I might as well 6-speed swap it since I want to do that either way. Once again, more time and money though, all of which spent on a car I've not driven once. Eventually though, I'll get to drive it. And after that much work and that big of a gamble, hopefully I like it. What if I waited to pull the engine though? The water pump has RTV on both sides of the gasket, so it shouldn't leak, and I already have all the parts to get the car back on the road. So if I did this, I'd start by asking a completely different question. Does it leak as is? If it does, well, I guess I'm not really in any worse of a situation. The engine will have to come out and I'll ask myself the same fix or swap question, but this time I'll know what the 4.2's like. Plus, there's always the chance it doesn't leak, in which case I can simply drive and enjoy the car up until the point I feel like pulling the engine and swapping in the manual. And at that point, I'll have had time to save up for this whole process, as opposed to doing everything at once for a car I've never driven. So in a weird roundabout kind of way, sending it as is makes a lot more sense. Plus, Colton had one more trick up his sleeve, something only he would think of, but might just give me a bit more of a fighting chance. He's not available until later though, so for now, I'm gonna keep working on what I can do. And in this case, there's another complete unknown that I'll have to answer. What can I use to replace this torque mount, which is completely discontinued? First of all, this timing cover and the mount that it's attached to are not in the best condition, but I can always clean and refinish them later, which I probably will. The pressing issue is the fact that no matter where I look, I can't find a new version of this mount, which is currently split in half. They did not make many of these cars, and naturally, from what I'm reading, it's pretty specific to this chassis. It's one of them situations where my only real hope is finding information on old forums, ones that resemble ghost towns. It looks like, with a little modification, the RS6 mount will work. The guy sure doesn't seem convincing, but it's still in production, so it might be the only option. And the only other thing I can find is so out of left field that I really just can't see it working. An air-cooled bus? Really? I mean, it's $8. Worth a shot. Sooner than later, the mad scientist returned. Colton was here and was explaining to me his idea for how he can guarantee the water pump wouldn't leak, and it was a little unique to say the least. But logically, it does make sense. Currently, the snapped off stud is gripping the threads in the block. His idea is to simply tap the stud that's broken off into the block. He'll thread in the bolt, and the water pump won't know the difference because it'll have the same pressure either way. And if the new bolt is gripping the inside of the stud, which is gripping the inside of the block, in logical theory, that new bolt is gripping the block. But I guess there's only one way to find out if that works in the real world. As I stood there watching this whole process, there were many things I was questioning. Where was this idea from? Why was this car so determined not to run? Would my luck ever turn around? But more than anything, I was questioning if this idea was simply crazy, or if it was so crazy that it just might work. The new hardware made its way in, and somehow, despite all circumstances, it held the same amount of torque as all the other water pump bolts. This just might work. In other words, sending it was a good idea. At least right now, that's what I'm thinking. But what I'm also thinking is that finally, I'll be able to move on to the step that made me want to start this entire process, learning how to actually time an engine with first-hand experience. And since Colton's already here and he is a licensed mechanic, he's gonna guide me through it so I can learn by actually doing it without as much of the fear of messing everything up. And it all really starts by getting the rest of the components back to their new home. And while doing this, I was on cloud 9. I can't even begin to explain how happy I am to finally be making progress again, even if the road to get here was slightly sketchy. With the combination of the book and Colton's help, I was to the stage where I was ready to put the belt back on the car. Before I do that though, I need to make sure that the bottom and top ends are both at top dead center. The bottom is held in place with the bullnose locking pin, and the top with the cam locking bar. Both of those tools will only fit if the engine is in top dead center, top and bottom end. So at that point, I was free to put the belt in its position. Then I used a torque wrench to pre-tension the belt with the off-center pulley. At this point, the belt is in place, but I'm not quite done. I checked the torque of everything one more time, and then went ahead and torqued down the cams themselves. These gears are press fit, so right now the cams wouldn't even spin if the belt was moving. Tightening them back down fixes that. It was finally time to pull the pin. This engine, theoretically, is in time, but it's always a good idea to rotate the engine a couple times to make sure that the next time you're in top dead center, and the time after that, all the marks still line up. After all, that's the only way you're really gonna know. So far, so good. The marks on the bottom end and the driver's side all line up. All that's left are these two marks. There's one, and there's the final mark. Looks like even though it wasn't the smoothest install, far from it actually, this engine is finally in time with a new water pump and a new timing belt. It was right about then that Colton took off. He upheld his end of the bargain, and for that, I'm grateful. There's always people out there who know more than you do, and getting the chance to learn from them is pretty special in my books. Looks like I'm finally back to putting this car back together, and it looks like the Serpentine belt is the next big project. It's not like the car would run very long without one. Before I put it back on though, I'm probably gonna have to figure out that motor mount question, aren't I? In order to figure out which of the new mounts is gonna make the best replacement, I should probably get this one off the actual metal. Looks like this mount ran into the same issue my E30 motor mounts did. Torn completely in half due to age. You'll love to see it. And while I wish I could go with an OE replacement, I don't know if I feel comfortable buying a used one on eBay. Nothing against used parts for most cases, but for a motor mount, that really just means I'm closer to running into the same issue. I'd prefer to put something new on in this case, even if it ends up being a little atypical to say the least. This is the stock torque mount. This is a mount for an RS6, and this for an air-cooled bus. At first glance, it looks like the RS6 mount is pretty identical to the original, but who knows? Maybe looks are a bit deceiving. I mean, the air-cooled bus mount doesn't even look remotely similar, until you pay attention to the dimensions. Maybe that guy from the forum was onto something. The bus mount is exactly the same height, whereas the RS6 mount is nowhere close. I could probably get it to work with a lot of spacers, but if I were to try and run it without, the engine would be sitting at a very different position than it should be, putting way more pressure on places that don't really need it. It does kind of fit the metal housing, however, not nearly as well, surprisingly, as the air-cooled mount. Somehow, despite the idea sounding insane and the mount looking completely different, it works perfectly. And it's the same polyurethane as the 034 one. I really thought there was no way, but somehow, there definitely is. I also figured while I had these parts out of the car, I'd touch them up with some paint. The exact same process as was used for the valve covers. Nothing crazy, and I don't expect it to last forever, but these are visible mounts. So in my mind, this is really just going the extra mile. After about a day of waiting for the paint to cure, I came out with one goal and one goal only: get the accessory belt back on the car. And unlike the timing belt, the stakes on this one are a ton lower. Really, all I've got to do is follow the pictures in the book and make sure it's routed correctly. I still really can't believe that this mount actually works, and the fact that it was only $10 shipped is kind of unbeatable. I don't know how long it's gonna last, or if it's gonna work as good as the original will, but what I do know is it's gonna last a lot longer and work a lot better than the one that was completely torn in half. The only real technical part of reinstalling the Serpentine belt is putting on this balancer, and even that doesn't seem too hard. Really, you just gotta torque it down in a specific sequence and make sure you don't forget any bolts. But that's about it. After straining against the Serpentine belt tensioner, the belt was finally in place, and I figured the next best use of my time was to get the timing covers back on, after prettying them up a bit, of course. It still hasn't set in yet, but I'm finally done timing this car, so unless something goes catastrophically wrong, these covers can stay on for quite a while. All of a sudden, it then occurred to me that I was in exactly the same position as I was a couple weeks ago. The car is now just about as torn apart as when I first bought it, though the issue that the previous owner sold the car over has now been fixed. Yeah, all that's left is the easy part. I just gotta put it all back together and fire it up. Nothing but smooth sailing ahead, and I can't wait. Plus, with the engine covers on and cleaned up a bit, it looks a lot better than it did before, almost like an engine again. Though there's still a chance it won't hold, I really think this was the best choice. And it'll be simple. Putting stuff back together is usually easier than taking it apart. But then again, I wasn't the one who took this apart. I don't have a memory of how to put it back together. In fact, I don't know where any of these lines or wires go. I'm starting to think that now is when the real learning's actually gonna start. How do you solve a puzzle you know nothing about? Or put one back together when you didn't take it apart? At that time, I really didn't know what was to come. All I knew was this: there's always something new to learn. And I was ready for whatever it would be. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider dropping a like and subscribing for more. That's the best way you can help support me and my content. Either way, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day.